Hello, I'm Guru Lakshmi, a senior pricing consultant at Monetizely. So today I'm going to walk you through our process of conducting a pricing audit. So we conduct the pricing assessment by analyzing three data sources. As you can see on this slide, the very first data source is the aligner survey. This will have broad questions on your goals and segmentations, packaging, pricing metric, price point, and operation efficiency, which we would want your key pricing stakeholders to fill out. And second is your current packaging and price book. Third is your sales data, which we would want your customer data per customer account, as in how much active ARR they are doing with your company and the dollar per unit price point that you charge. Once we have all these three data sources, we're gonna analyze and present our findings and recommendations in the form of an audit deck, which I'll walk you through today in detail. Let's get to that. So that's the pricing assessment audit deck. It is the anonymized version of one of the pricing audits that we've done earlier this year for one of our prospect clients, then turned out to be a client. So that is the key summary slide, which will give you the utmost value from the pricing audit, as in it will show you our overall assessment on your pricing strategy. So this will have assessment across these key 5 steps of your pricing strategy. So at Monetizely, we follow a 5-step framework to assess a pricing strategy. And each step, one after the other, has a waterfall effect. So only when your goals and segmentations are set right and you're aligned on what they mean to you, does going to thinking about packaging or the next steps make sense. So that's the key summary slide. And each of the slides following will have the specific details into each of these steps. The very first one is the segmentation slide. So this slide will consist of our assessment of your understanding on your customer segmentation, as in how you define your ICP, your key buying personas, the use cases. And finally, this will have our assessment of your clarity on the customer segmentation. As you can see, our client understood their SMB segmentation quite well, but they lacked clarity on the mid-market and enterprise segmentation. Your slide would tell a different story. Then second in the step is the packaging. So as you can see, the client had one price book that they were using to acquire new clients for higher average selling price, which you can see on the left. But after our assessment, what we found out was that they could use an additional price book for their existing customers to achieve high INRR. And the packages and add-ons look something similar to this. This was our recommendation for the client. And third is the pricing metric. So they were using dollar per user as their pricing metric, which we thought was leading to under monetization and doesn't actually support the kind of scale that they were looking at. So we had 3 candidates in mind for their product line, and we evaluated all the 3 candidates across the 7 criteria that we use to arrive at an ideal pricing metric. And after the evaluation, we suggested one pricing metric that they could use for their product line. Next is our assessment on your price points. So this slide is derived from the sales data that you provide. So here, we do a trend analysis of the active ARR per customer against the dollar per unit that you charge them. And as you can see on this slide, they both have an inverse relationship. As in, if you look closer, on average, the dollar per unit for the mid-market segmentation is higher compared to an average enterprise customer, which goes against the principles of upgrading and paying higher for premium tiers. So we have highlighted the implications this relationship could have and made some recommendations. Next, we also do a comparative analysis and show you how your price points are placed within the industry ranges. As you can see, the price points are converging and very tightly clustered. So what we recommended them was that they could increase their mid-market price point by 10% and enterprise price point by 20% and still be within the industry average, but doing more revenue and higher ARR. And lastly, we look at your operation efficiency. On this slide, it's majorly 2 points that you would want to look at. So one is the alignment of your pricing stakeholders about your operation efficiency. 2 is the pain point. So on this graph, it shows that the pricing stakeholders had varied alignment on how their sales efficiency was. And on the right, We highlighted the key pain points that most of the stakeholders agreed upon that were the bottlenecks for their sales process. So that brings us to the end of the pricing audit deck. Iterating, once we have all the three data sources, we're going to do our analysis and present our findings and recommendations in the form of a similar looking deck with the similar depth of analysis. Thank you.